Hello, I'm Marcia. I'm a creative artist. I specialise in oil painting and I also tutor in art. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to add texture when oil painting. We're going to be using a series of brushes, very thick one, medium one, small one, and a fine one. We're also going to be using some natural sponge. We're going to use a sponge on a stick. We'll probably be using this rag here and also some palette knives. So in this piece I was able to create texture in a number of different ways. Firstly, the most obvious was I used my brush to create a wash with oil, with a linseed oil and oil paint mixed together. Secondly, I used sponge on a stick, which I used to blend the wash all over the canvas. I used my palette knife to create texture here after mixing and blending the oils on my palette and mixing and blending the oils in as a more of a wash in the tin there. I used the oil in these areas here and I used the palette knife on the tree trunk to create more depth and more contrast between the foreground and the background. I also used the palette knives to pick up the texture of the blades of grass alongside dry brush strokes. I used the sponge as a stippling effect to create the leaves on the branches. 3 different colours, layer upon layer upon layer, created more depth here with the leaves on the tree. I used the palette knife again in the area here where the sky was to create a balance and drama between both sides of the painting and the foreground and the background. When I finished doing that, I used my fingers to blend in the heavier areas because I didn't want the edges to be too hard, but at the same time I did want a contrast between the sky and the mountains and the sky and the tree. So I rubbed along here with dry paint and thick paint, and I also rubbed along here with the watery oil paint. I used my brush strokes quite liberally along these areas here to continue with the dry grassy texture, and also added more impasto paint here to give more depth and create a contrast between the foreground and the midground. And that's how to add texture when oil painting.